Howdy folks, it's your friend Fishing with Dom, and today I'm going to talk to you about something really cool that I just got onto not too long ago, and that is the Ned Rig. As you know, when it comes to me as a bass angler, I am always late to the game. Last year, 2018, I got in a drop shotting when everybody was already doing this, and this year I'm doing this, and now everybody's onto the Tokyo rig and the Nico rig, and I'm always that one kid who's old news, always, catching up with things in the past. I should be playing with a fidget spinner, for crying out loud. But this Ned Rig, this is something really, really cool. This is something really unique. And just like when wacky rigging became popular in the scene, a good 10, 12 years ago, it looked too simple. It looked too silly to be true. You're telling me this single jig head and soft bait will catch some of the most finicky and hard to seduce bass on the lake? Yeah, absolutely. It is what it is, and let me tell you why. Now, I only have two colors because I'm still relatively new to this. My friends Travis and Parker, they're the ones who really got me in on this. And actually, just a month ago, my good friend Parker took me out on Lake St. Clair, and we threw the Ned Rig around, and we caught some smallmouth bass that day. So shout out to Parker Westfall. This kid's gonna be a professional bass angler someday. Well, he's younger than me. I shouldn't call him a kid. He's gonna be a professional bass angler someday. The kid's a tough stick. But Z-Man makes the Finesse TRD worm, that's the Ned Rig worm, and a nickname a lot of anglers have for the Ned Rig worm is the Turd Worm. TRD, turd, and it kind of looks like a turd. Just a single log you think should be floating in the toilet. No potty humor in it. It's just how people call it what it is. It is what it is, Z-Man makes these. There are a lot of other similar worms out there that swim like it, but nothing does it like the original Z-Man Finesse TRD. Now, I think it's kind of cool. On the back of the package, they tell you that there is no PVC, plastisol, or pilothates in it, like your traditional plastic. And even when you drop this Ned rigging worm in water, it floats. It's really buoyant. And what threw me off when I first got my hands on it was how stretchy it was. It's, oh my goodness, that's like 18 inches long, and then it just goes back to its normal size. The Z-Man also recommends to keep composure for these worms. You store them in their original bag with other worms because they're not like other plastic, and they're going to lose their elastic and buoyant properties if they're not kept together and in the same bag. So I have California Craw right here. It's similar to a green pumpkin, got some red flake in it. And I also have another color. This color did me well the other day on the river. Peanut butter and jelly. One side we got a light pasty brown, and on the other side we got a bright grape jelly. And all you do when you are fishing a Ned Rig, as far as rigging it goes, is you rig it on a special mushroom-style jig head. Now, Z-Man makes these jig heads. They're called the Shroom Finesse jig heads, specifically designed for Ned rigging. They come in weird sizes. They come in 1/20th, 1/15th, 1/10th, a 5th, and a 6th. It's not like normal Ned rig. It's not like normal, not Ned rigging. It's not like normal weight sizes that go in increments of 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, 1/2, and so on and so forth. They have some really unique sizes to it, and this is a real small one right here. This is, I believe, a 1/10, and here's just my finger to put it up there for reference. It's just a really small, really light jig. On inland lakes, I have friends who are kayak fishermen. They swear by the lightest Ned Rig jig head you can get away with. It's that really light, subtle action, that slow fall, that quaint little quiver of the bait going through the water that drives smallmouth and largemouth bass crazy. And I've got this California Craw rigged up real small jig head on here. I bought these small 1/10s because they were the only ones my tackle shop had in stock at the time. But when I was out on St. Clair, I got myself one of these 1/5 ounce, and as you can see, I beat this thing to hell. All the paint's chipped off of it, and I caught a really nice big smallmouth bass with it. And then on my local reservoir last week, I caught all sorts of smallies and walleye and rock bass with it too. It's a really unique bait because when this bait is swimming through the water, because the plastic is different, the plastic always sits up in the water. So when it's swimming through the water, it's on an angle like this. And then on a slack line, once it hits the bottom, the bait stands up just like that. And this is what I personally think drives the bass wild. When it's just sitting up, sometimes on an angle, sometimes perfectly straight, it almost imitates a crawfish that has lost its craws and it's dying, or it's just a minnow being positioned up. I'm not 100% sure. There's some debate going on about that, but I personally think it's a crawfish with no craws or legs left on it, like it's dying and trying to scoot along. But this bait catches fish, I tell you what. It's a very light bait. When it's dropping through the water, the rear end has this really subtle wobble to it, and that's what makes it really shine with the really light finesse style jig heads right here. But there's no wrong way to fish with it. That's the really cool thing about the Ned Rig. I just have my medium power fast action spinning outfit right here that I do everything with. This is my wacky rigging rod, this is my drop shot rod, this is my go-to spinning baby. All I have to do is cast that bad lad out there and just, I can hop it along the bottom and reel up the slack. I can swim it, pick it up, drop it and reel up the slack. Or on a tight line, I could reel into it and give it real subtle hops and let it just sit on the bottom really quickly. And I just feel those smallmouth bass come up and they just go bananas for it. And from then on, it's just hook set city. I caught some really nice ones with this jig head. I think it's actually lucky to me. It's my only 1/5 I actually have. My buddy gave it to me. And Ned rigging. It's really cool. It's really unique. I know a lot of people, they've caught big walleyes and they've caught some of the biggest panfish of their life on it. But for me, when it comes to finesse bass fishing, the Ned Rig, it's here to stay. There's something different about it. Z-Man has done something different, and I know I'm maybe beating a dead horse. I know I'm totally late to the game on this, but this is something really cool, and if you haven't gotten into it, I highly recommend it. There's a lot of Ned rigging stuff available at box stores like Walmart and Gander Outdoors and Bass Pro Shop. They have every color under the sun you can imagine. Just make sure you get a jig head you can cast out far enough to your liking, and find a hook that you like to your liking too, because this is a real stout owner hook. This is a custom poured jig my friend made for me. I have heard some complaints with the Z-Man jigs and other knockoff jigs with the light wire finesse style of mushroom jig, that these hooks can bend out from time to time depending on how you're fighting fish. So make sure you find a hook you're confident in. That's all I'm going to say. And just cast it out there, hop it a little bit, maybe sweep it back. There's no wrong way to fish with it. When that fish, walleye, rock bass, panfish or bass, whatever it may be, sees this thing darting along the bottom, it's got a wobble, it's got a swim, it's got an action and a profile that'll drive them insane. So if you haven't gotten on the Ned Rig, definitely do it, because it's something that I rely on heavily now. But until next time, I'm Fishing with Dom. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.